You're listening to the Casting for Fun podcast, the show that talks about entertainment, sports, music, and inspirational stories for all to enjoy. We're glad you could join us today. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Now, here is your host, Albert Pineda.
This is the Casting for Fun podcast. I am your host, Albert Pineda, and this week's episode is for Wednesday, March the 20th, 2024. It's a sports-centered episode. Taking a little break from my album track-by-track review style format episodes. This week we're talking sports because it's a really exciting time for sports. The springtime's always great. For me personally, Major League Soccer is already well underway, so I'm really happy about that. But then, of course, Major League Baseball is about to start, and I'm really, really excited to catch the Dodgers this season. And then, of course, we're just a few days away from March Madness starting, so that's going to be really fun as well. When it comes to college sports, I am kind of casual. I don't really follow it too closely, but March Madness is a really exciting, fun time of the year because it's just a time when everybody's paying attention to sports. Everyone's filling out their brackets. Everybody's watching these games. So it's really fun and great. Anyway, so for this week, Stephen Cable, a good friend, returns to the show to talk Dodgers, to talk Ontani, to talk everything else going on with the team. Mookie Betts playing second base, everything of that nature. We even go over the uniform controversy and add a little humor to that too. So it's great conversation with Stephen. It always is. And then we go over March Madness stuff too. So really, really excited. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday, March the 20th. If you're listening to this on March the 20th, then you already know that the Dodgers' first game already went final. Their first game against the Padres in Seoul, Korea. I'm recording this intro a few days earlier, so I'm assuming that the Dodgers won that game. But that's always a safe assumption to make when it comes to the Dodgers and opening days. But anyway, so this is my conversation with Stephen Cable. Please enjoy it and enjoy some Major League Baseball as it comes around. And, of course, enjoy some March Madness as well.
Crank up the Beach Boys, baby. Don't let the music stop. We gonna ride it till we just can't ride it no more. From the side bay to the valley, from the west side to the east side, everybody very happy, 'cause the sun is shining all the time. It's like another perfect day. I love LA. We love it. I love LA. We love it. We love it.
So welcome back to the show, Stephen Cable. Stephen, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
Doing really good, Albert. How are you?
Doing well. It's a cool time of year. You know, last fall when we were talking about college football and NFL, we we're talking about the fall season for sports, which is really great and awesome. But the spring's really cool too. It's so awesome that we're gonna get Major League Baseball to start very, very soon.
Yep.
And then, of course, March Madness. I mean, even if you're the most casual of sports fans or don't even really like sports, everyone just seems to get interested into March Madness, right?
Yeah, I kind of compare it to the Super Bowl. Like, you know, even people that don't watch football at all, they always watch the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot on a lesser scale, of course, but a lot of people, you know, work brackets, you know, family brackets, friend brackets, people get into it, and you know, everybody has different ways of picking the brackets, and so I think it is for every fan, casual fan, anybody that doesn't know anything about basketball, everybody can get into it. So it's kind of fun.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So tonight's going to be a fun conversation. We're going to talk Dodgers. So previewing the team for the upcoming season. Then, of course, March Madness talk as well. So, the next couple of weeks are going to be really fun for sports.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Okay, so let's dive in first with some Dodger talk. So we touched on it when we had the 100th episode live stream. Yep. We talked a little bit about Ontani, and then you and I have talked privately about it as well. And then, of course, Yamamoto. So in retrospect, it kind of is old news, to be honest, but I still consider it to be the biggest story in baseball to be going on right now at this time. So I was just curious just to get your take again. After going through spring training, what did you think of what we saw from both players?
Yeah, so building off what you said there, I think not only is it still big news, I think Ontani is the biggest athlete going on in sports right now. I can't think of another guy that is pulling as much news as him right now. And so I still think it is newsworthy. You know, he's going to get a lot of talk this year because he did switch teams and because of the talent he is. So I think it's absolutely noteworthy. Spring training wise, I mean, it was kind of cool that Otani came out in his first, let's see, it was his second at bat, third at bat, hit a home run. So he came out ready to go and doing his thing. He's going to be exciting to watch. I wish he was pitching this year, but you know, the way he swings the bat, it's kind of unbelievable. He's a once in a generation talent, and it's pretty cool that Dodgers have him.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And then actually really quick, I want to just go back in time a little bit. So just sharing an audio clip of CBS Sports when they first broke the news that Otani had signed with the team. It still gives me goosebumps just watching it. I remember that day, like we talked about it before, like Otani watch, like I was glued to the TV at work, like every hour they were breaking the story. Okay, what's Otani doing now? What's he doing now? Let's go ahead and jump into that clip here just a second.
Breaking news from Major League Baseball, where Shohei Ontani is signing with the Los Angeles Dodgers. The two-way superstar will get a 10-year deal worth $700 million, far and away the largest contract in the history of North American sports. The 29-year-old is coming off his second career MVP award when he led the American League in home runs, slugging percentage, and on-base percentage. He also went 10-5 with a 3.14 ERA across 23 starts. Everybody's been keeping it quiet. Nobody's been able to talk about whether they've met with Shohei or not, although the Dodgers kind of did. But Shohei made the announcement official on Instagram, posting that he is going to LA. And to all Dodgers fans, hey, I pledge to always do what's best for the team and always continue to give it my all to be the best version of myself. It's a long message. You can check it out on Instagram. For now, let's talk.
So very cool stuff. I mean, do you remember where you were when you first heard the news that Otani had officially signed?
Yeah, I remember exactly where it was. We were setting up for the Ward Christmas party, and it broke across my phone, and I went running across the gym to tell Holly, and then I was like, "Where's Weston?" And she was like, "I think he's in the release side room." So I went running for Weston, and she's like, "But I want to see his face." And so it was just like kind of like crazy few minutes, and I was texting my dad and my sister, and it was just kind of wild for like 10 minutes there, texting everybody and figuring it out. But I remember beforehand, like it was the day before, everybody was thinking he was going to Toronto because of the flight records.
Yeah.
And because of the private plane that he's used before, and it was leaving from John Wayne and going to Toronto. And so everybody was sure he was going to Toronto. And then it was just Robert Herjavec from Shark Tank. And I guess his hometown's in Toronto, and he was just headed back home. So, it was kind of funny that, everybody thought that was so guaranteed. And then the next morning it broke that. It was just so cool. It's so exciting to have somebody like him join the Dodgers. It's pretty dang cool.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And then his Japanese counterpart or countryman, Yoshi Yamamoto, signing for the team. Wow. I guess he struggled a little bit with his spring training outings, right?
His first outing was excellent, and then since then he's kind of struggled a little bit, and then it's kind of interesting. Maybe it's just adjusting to American hitters or whatever, but I was surprised. I think because of his struggles, that's why Glasnow is getting the opening day start in Seoul, Korea. And so, but still, he's so talented. I've heard so many people talk about his stuff and how accurate he is and how he's always around the strike zone and how much break his stuff has. So I'm not too worried about him. It's him just breaking in over here, and pitching's harder than hitting, I feel like. And so he'll find it, and he's going to have a really good season, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. In fact, I made it a point to listen to Dr. Talk on AM 570, the host of that particular radio program, David Vassay. He made a point to notice that Asian players who came to Major League Baseball from overseas have struggled a little bit in spring training seasons in the past. Like, Hideo
Yeah.
Nomo actually struggled a little bit back in the 90s. And even Otani initially struggled a little bit too with in his first season as in spring training. So it's not unheard of. I mean, again, like you mentioned, it could be difficult climbing to United States culture and atmosphere. And even throughout the season, and, he goes to higher altitude places, Colorado, wherever it may be, like traveling to the East Coast, there may be some struggles along the way. But like you said, I think he's going to get his footing, and I think he's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, and I think part of the problem with spring training is they're not even really getting settled to where they're going to be at. He's trying to find a place here in LA, but they're in Arizona getting ready to work. And so, everything's still kind of in so much motion for him coming from Japan. He's not even actually settled in America yet until they get settled in LA. And so I think it's a lot going on for guys like that. And so I'm not worried about it. He was an ace over there. He's going to be an ace here.
Mm-hmm.
All the guys that have seen him pitch have said that he is unreal. So I'm not worried about it. He's going to have a good year.
No, very cool. And then earlier you had mentioned about Tyler Glasnow, a really cool signing. Veteran starting rotation, so that'd be really awesome for the Dodgers to pick up. I'm glad that they got him. And then of course they re-signed some fan favorite key players as well, like Kiki Hernandez and Joel Kelly. So what do you think about the offseason moves that the Dodgers have made?
The Dodgers had one of the greatest off seasons in Major League history. I feel like, going out and trading for Glasnow was big. Glasnow, he's up and coming, and he's got great stuff. And to be the ace of the staff right away, right now, I think it really kind of shows what kind of stuff he has. And I'm excited to see him pitch. I'm excited to see Kike back. What I thought was cool is, they got Margot from the Rays with Glasnow in that trade, and then they traded away Margot and got a prospect, and then went and signed Kike. So that was pretty cool. I like that little move to get an extra prospect out of that, and I think Kike is great. He plays so many different positions, and he brings such a level of energy to the Dodgers that I really think keeps the team pumped up and keeps them in a positive mindset. Sometimes you just need those backups and the guys that fill in to just be good cheerleaders. And I remember, in the 2020 season, him and Jock Peterson, they're the biggest cheerleaders on the bench. They'd come in, fill in, come in clutch sometimes, and cheer on the rest of the guys and keep everything loose and positive. So I love guys like that. And then who was the other guy? Joe Kelly. Yeah, Joe Kelly. I was really excited that they got Joe Kelly back. He pitched really good when they got him at the trade deadline last year. And he's currently living in Upland, so I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's had a great spring, throwing heat, and I think coming out of the bullpen he'll be great. So, and changing his number to 99 is kind of cool. So yeah. I heard that he's gonna have the Wild Thing music when he comes out.
Oh really? Oh cool.
Yeah, because in Major League Baseball, in Major League the movie, he wore the Wild Thing wore 99, so he's gonna use that music for a little bit when he comes out. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. Very cool. So you had mentioned also that that Glasnow's getting the nod for the Game 1 start in Seoul, Korea, though. So again, that's it seems so unusual and weird to me, especially because after they do those 2 games in Seoul, Korea against Padres, they play a few more spring training games before they go back to the regular season. So I guess it's not it's not unprecedented for Major League Baseball to do this. 10 years ago, the Dodgers went to Sydney, Australia to open up against the Diamondbacks. And I remember Vin Scully, rest in peace. I mean, he was with us at the time, and he actually made the trip to Sydney to call that game.
Yeah.
Still seems a little unusual. I know the NFL does it, with the London games and Mexico City games. But to me, I don't know how you feel, Steven. It kind of seems like the NFL tends to send like the teams that aren't really like Super Bowl hopefuls to go to London and to Mexico City, whereas the Dodgers are very much a World Series contender. So do you think this is going to hurt the team at all? Do you think it's a good move to send them to Seoul, Korea to start the season?
So I don't like it because it doesn't back up right into the season. So, they're coming back to play more preseason games against the Angels. They'll play the Freeway Series here. And so I don't like that fact that we'll play 2 games that count as the regular season games, and then we'll come back and play preseason games. But I don't mind actually going out and playing games overseas. I think that's great. I think Major League Baseball is actually smart in sending big market teams. I think it'd be even cooler if they sent like the Dodgers and the Yankees, get both West and East Coast out there. But I think that's great for the game to get him out into different countries. But I really don't like how it starts the season and then comes back and we played more preseason games and then we'll get going out here. I wish it just backed up into the season and it all rolled in together. But logistically, I guess that doesn't really work. But I wish that's kind of how it went. But it'll be fun. The Dodgers played the Korean national team, I think it was yesterday, and they beat them 14-3 or something like that. So that was pretty cool. But I mean, they're having fun. It'll be good.
Yeah. And then speaking of the logistics, so it's so crazy to think. So this recording will be available on Wednesday.
Okay.
And then it'll be available after they play their first game, which I'm sure they'll destroy the Padres. But so technically, when you're listening to this, we should be celebrating a Dodger victory on technically the first game of the Major League Baseball season.
Right. Yeah, I mean the Padres are a mess. They're such a mess organization. They'll be fine. Dodgers will probably. Yeah,
the 3:05 a.m. Pacific time is when it would be on. So I guess that's way too early. But if you're in the East Coast, it'd be 6:05. So I guess that's somewhat doable. But I don't know if there's many. Not that I know, but I'm sure there's probably Dodger fans out in the East Coast.
Yeah, there's some out there, I'm sure. So I don't think I'm gonna wake up at 3:05 to turn that game on, but I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
I might. I don't know.
Okay, so I want to talk about now some recent changes that Dave Roberts has made to player position. So this is actually kind of big news too. The fact that Mookie Betts and Gavin Lux are going to be switching positions. That Mookie's going to take on the shortstop position, Gavin Lux the second base position. I just feel bad for Gavin Lux. I mean, just tough luck that last season, in spring training, he tore his ACL, was done for the whole season, is back, and he's really been struggling. In fact, there's been several Dodger fans that I've seen on social media kind of calling for him to be traded. But I don't know. Do you think it's a good move? Do you like it, seeing Mookie play shortstop?
So my first thought is, how crazy good is Mookie Betts to just move wherever Dave Roberts tells him to move? Like, it's just unbelievable to me that he's just like, yeah, I can go play there. And when actually naturally he's a second baseman. He came up through the ranks as a second baseman and then went to the outfield as he became a professional. And so the Dodgers moved him back to second. I don't think he's played much shortstop. He played 2 games at shortstop for the Dodgers last year, but I don't think he's played significant time at shortstop. So for Dave Roberts to be that confident in Mookie Betts, it just shows, one, how great of an athlete he is to be able to do that. And then 2, for Gavin Lux, it's a bad break. It stinks to kind of get the yips when you're coming back like this. I don't know what's going on with him, but throwing the ball is an issue. Like, when he was out there, I watched a few games and everything bounced going to first. Every throw bounced, and it was just like, wow, what is going on? And even his first game at second in spring training, he bounced a throw to first. And so I've seen these guys go through the yips. Chuck Knobloch went through the yips. Steve Sachs for the Dodgers went through the yips where they just couldn't hit the first baseman. And it's kind of like a mental block thing. So hopefully he can get through it and make the throws from second base. But, Gavin's played a lot at second. He's going to be fine there as long as he can make the throw. His bat has been okay in spring training. I'm definitely not on the train to trade him. I think he's coming back from an ACL tear. Like, we got to give him time to get back. There's a lot going on there, and it might still be not fully confident in his injury being healed. Who knows? It could be something like that. But I definitely think it's all mental. It's definitely nothing physical with him. But Mookie, man, like I think he's just such a great athlete to be able to just go to shortstop, and Dave Roberts to be that confident that he's gonna be the everyday shortstop. It's pretty cool. And I think Mookie even said he's shooting for a Gold Glove. So like that'd be pretty amazing if he goes out and wins a Gold Glove this year at shortstop. But
I wouldn't bet against him. So
no, I wouldn't bet against him. He's an incredible athlete. I think it's awesome. So yeah,
very cool, very cool. So I want to talk about. Oh, go ahead, Steven.
I would definitely keep Lux right now and let him work some things out. And if it doesn't work out, then you always have the trade deadline to do something. But let him work his stuff out. He's a good ball player.
Yeah, I guess you also have to consider that if he is struggling at the trade deadline, would anybody else want him? But
yeah, I guess that's always true. You can always sell high right now. But I mean, I guess it's not terribly high either because you can't make a pro, and everybody knows that. So
Well, I mean, I'll be rooting for him to improve and get better. So that's not
Me too.
definitely for him.
Me too.
Yeah.
I think he's a good ball player, and you kind of need guys that the Dodgers can't fill their whole entire roster with all stars, so you need guys that are solid like him, and so hopefully he gets back to his way that he played last year or 2 years ago before he got hurt, and he'll be fine. He'll be a great 9-hole hitter for us, and I'm not worried about it.
Very cool. Okay, so I want to talk about Matt Kemp now. So he also was in the news that the Dodgers are actually hiring him back to, I guess, play advisory role, which is pretty cool. I don't know too many times if that's been done in the past for Major League Baseball teams, but I know Matt Kemp's just a huge fan favorite player for the team. I mean, the fans love him, and I think he can be very inspiring and motivational for the team. What do you think his role would be then if he is going to be in an advisory capacity for the Dodgers?
So the Dodgers have done this a lot in the past. Andre Ethier's in the same role.
Oh yeah.
And so these guys are out there at spring training, where you see them the most right now is in spring training, and they're out there pretty much coaching just like anybody else, really helping these guys out. I don't know what that entails in the regular season. I'm guessing they'll still be around the club and helping out, hitting, instructing, and different things like that. I've always loved how the Dodgers have brought back players like this. Eric Karros did it for a little while. As I mentioned, Andre Ethier did it. There's been a few other Dodger players that have come back into these roles, and I think it's cool that Dodgers always kind of honor their past and honor these guys who have been great players for them and show the respect and have them be around these guys. I think it's really cool. Matt Kemp was always a great player. I always think he got robbed of the MVP that one year. I forget what year that was when Ryan Braun won it. Yeah. I felt like that was Matt Kemp's year to win the MVP, but I mean, that's a biased Dodger fan too, but but their stats were pretty similar. And I thought Matt Kemp did a little bit more, but the voters are going to be voters. And I think the voting process is biased anyways. That's a whole nother conversation, but I love Matt Kemp. I think it's great that he's around. So, and him and Andre Ethier are great friends still, I've heard, and so it's kind of cool that they're both in the same role and hanging out and being around the club.
Oh, very cool. Okay, so one more baseball topic that I want to bring up, just kind of add a little humor to the podcast as well. So, which has kind of been just in the news as well the past month or so, is the new uniforms that I guess Major League Baseball is mandating for the teams to wear. That I guess is lighter material, but I guess kind of is see through when it's tucked in, right? There's so many funny things I want to share about this. So first, let me insert another video. This is an audio clip rather. This is Texas Rangers manager Bruce Bochy talking about it. Here.
All right, listen to this. Of all the things to be concerned about during spring training, uniforms are in the news. Major League Baseball is using new unis this year, lighter weight fabric. Some of the players have not been wild about the change, though. One of the complaints, the fact that on the white uniforms, to a certain extent, you can see through them. Rangers manager Bruce Bochy had some fun with the topic this morning as he met with reporters. Evan Grant of the Morning News engaging the skipper in uniform talk.
Big controversy in spring training. Nike's pants are see-through.
I didn't notice that. You're looking pretty hard, aren't you?
You don't really have to look all that hard. It's all over the internet.
No, I did see that, but I'll be honest, I haven't really noticed.
You're okay?
Yeah.
You're not too worried about the see-through pants?
Well, I mean, sure, if they're really, it's really that obvious, but no, I know that they're looking at it, so we'll see what they end up doing.
So it's a very good stuff. I've had Bruce Bochy he kind of reminds me of another Bruce that I like, Bruce Arena, former LA Galaxy coach, who also kind of had to be like very snarky and kind of like sarcastic and monotone responses. So I think it's just hilarious and funny. But so what did you think when you heard the news or saw the story of like these new uniforms?
So going back to when I first heard that Nike was taking them over, and then I heard a lot about what the Dodgers uniforms were going to look like, and I was really bugged by it. Like, first off, the Dodgers home jerseys aren't a bright white anymore. They're a little bit of an off-white, and it's a small change, but the Dodgers uniforms have always been bright white. Like, and that's what's always been so cool about their home uniforms is it's white on white, and it's awesome. And I don't know why Nike went away from that. And then also the Dodgers across the chest is smaller, I've heard this year, and the number's smaller. but the number is on bigger on the back, but the name is smaller. And I don't know why all the changes. Like, the uniform was perfect. Leave it alone. And then I guess the big thing that Dodger players have noticed is where the buttons meet. It used to break the lettering right in between the D and the O on Dodgers, and now it breaks right in the middle of the D. And so like the D breaks up, and it's really strange how they changed everything. And then after that, during the spring training photo shoot, is kind of when everybody blew up about the see-through stuff. You know, nobody was really talking about it until it was media day, and everybody was going through their photo shoots. And there was one photo of a Giants player. He was sitting like on a box, and his legs were spread apart, and his bat was on his shoulder, on his knees, and like it was really exposed down there. You could see his stuff, and it was just like, all right, that's pretty see-through. Like, they got to fix that. And I think it was that picture that forced the Major League Players Association to kind of force the issue with Major League Baseball. They all voted like, hey, we got to change this. This isn't okay. And so I haven't heard where that's gone, but it definitely is an issue. It's kind of funny. You wouldn't think Nike would botch something like this. Like, I know you want to go lighter and everything, but Nike's so good at everything. I'm not sure how they botched this so bad, but it's kind of a funny little storyline right now. But
yeah, do you remember back when in 2008, just for one game, the Lakers and Celtics were playing each other, and they were kind of paying homage to like the time era. Like, they had the Lakers wearing like the Magic Johnson style shorts.
Yeah, both teams were wearing the short shorts.
Yeah, and then at halftime they changed. They went back to like the baggy shorts.
The players.
I don't know if things like that, like, you know, mess with the psyche of players. Like, you know, like they thinking, oh, are people checking me out, or I don't know. It just seems like a weird thing, but it could be a real big mental thing.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I've always gone by the mantra, look good, play good. You know, you feel good, you play good. And, you know, if the players are a little bit self-conscious about the way they look and what it might look like out there, you know, it definitely could get in their head. So it's a big deal to players. You know, players love, you know, cool uniforms. They love, you know, when they bring out the City Connect jerseys, those are pretty cool. So, you know, I do think it's a big deal to the players, and they kind of need to get it fixed to make them all comfortable. Because if you're going to wear white and it's that see-through, I mean, I think about it like Weston's pants, they're a little bit see-through, and we had to go change his underwear because he had black underwear mainly for baseball.
Yeah.
And it was so see-through, you could see that it was black and with his white pants. So we had to go get him white underwear. And these are just brands like Easton and stuff. So that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But Major League Baseball shouldn't have that issue.
No, definitely not. Okay, so hopefully they do get this resolved and fixed. I guess if not for the start of the season, then soon. But we'll have to.
They will. They'll figure it out. And
yeah,
I just don't know how Nike's messed it up so bad.
To add a little more humor to this whole situation, it was kind of funny when the news broke, and I just saw it all over the internet. People were drawing comparisons to that one episode of Seinfeld. Are you a fan of Seinfeld? Do you watch it at all?
So I've watched Seinfeld off and on. I've always said I need to sit down and just watch it. Like, it's funny when I watch it. I just have never sat down and watched it all.
Oh, okay. So there's an episode that, I mean, so George Costanza was working for the Yankees organization, and he was just like notice that the players are really hot because, like, you know, they're sweaty because the cotton, it's too thick material that they're wearing there. I guess it was polyester material. So he insisted that they switch to cotton, and they just get hilarious results when they switch the uniform. So
yeah,
I'll play you that clip from that episode of Seinfeld.
Can you take a swing?
No.
All right. What are y'all sweating for?
It's hot in this uniform.
Hot? What is this?
What is what?
This uniform, what's it made from?
I don't know. Cotton?
No. This is not cotton. Here, let me see.
What are you doing?
I want to see the logo.
Here, let me see. Here, stop.
What? Polyester? I can't believe you're not playing in cotton.
Well, this is what they give us.
You know they used to make leisure suits out of this fabric?
You really think cotton's better?
Of course. All right. Maybe I'll say something to Buck.
Yeah, good idea. Catch you later.
Yeah. Hey, don't embarrass me today. I got some friends in the stands, huh? Did you know that the Yankees don't wear cotton jerseys?
Of course, they're polyester.
Well, what is that? That's a crime. You know how hot those things get? They should be wearing cotton.
Why do they wear polyester?
I don't know. That's all gonna change.
You're gonna do something about it?
Why shouldn't I? Hey, Yankee game.
Oh, great. All right.
And the Yankees take the field.
Hey, what is with the Yankees? They look like they're having trouble running. They can't move.
It's their uniforms. They're too tight. They've shrunk. They're running like penguins. Forget this game.
Oh, my God. Mattingly just split his pants.
That's a shame.
So yeah, it's just hilarious to me. So funny that George Costanza went through so much effort to get the uniforms changed, and it actually it's to the detriment of the team that they
100%.
So I don't know, it's funny stuff. But again, yeah, hopefully Major League Baseball can get this whole sorted out, and we won't have to worry about the uniforms throughout this year.
Yeah, hopefully we don't see too much this year.
Yeah, very cool. So did you have anything else about the Dodgers or MLB that you wanted to bring up?
Yeah. What do you think the Dodgers' chances of signing Blake Snell are?
Oh, I haven't been following that story very closely. Are they actively pursuing him, or what's going on with that?
I mean, he's still available, which is shocking to me this late in the process. And I was watching a clip on MLB Network, and it was with Harold Reynolds, and they were asking, who was going to sign him, and they were talking about the Astros are really pushing for him, and I forget the other team they're naming him. But then Harold Reynolds was like, I have a sleeper for you. And he's like, who? And he's like, the Dodgers. And the guy was like, there's no way. And he's like, no. He's like, I'm hearing it. He's like, it could happen. If the Dodgers can sign him to like a 1-2 year deal with big money, that they're there. And he was like, especially with, Yamamoto struggling a little bit, Kershaw not coming back to July. He was like, it's there. I mean, and he was like, that kind of makes me sick to think about. But I mean, it'd be kind of cool to have Blake Snell in the rotation. That'd be pretty fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So if they can make it work, great. I mean, I hate to see what they might have to give up if they do, but
it's just money. I mean, he's a free agent, so I mean,
yeah.
I guess at this point it's just money to the Dodgers, right? Like it's not that big of a deal. They're spending it everywhere else, but I mean, the Dodgers have kind of become the hated ones right now. The Yankees were that team in the late '90s, early 2000s, and everybody hated the Yankees with everybody they had, and the Dodgers are that team now. And I think a reporter asked Mookie Betts how it felt to take on like kind of the villain role. And he's like, if that's what people are going to give us, he's like, we'll embrace it and we'll go be the villains and go do this thing. So the Dodgers might as well sign Blake Snell and just stack everybody on there and go make everybody upset and go win this thing. So it'd be kind of fun to have Blake Snell, but I mean, it's a possibility. I don't know if it's a strong possibility because I heard the Astros are pushing pretty hard and they might give him a long-term deal. But if the Dodgers could sign him to a quick short-term deal, that would be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, very cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into some March Madness talk now. So this should be really interesting and fun. And also given the fact that for the listeners who aren't aware, Steven and I compete in, I guess, a semi-league, as it were, for guessing who's actually going to have the most correct guesses when it comes to March Madness. So I don't know if you want to give away too many of your picks or your secrets.
When's this airing?
What?
When's this airing?
This will be on Wednesday. So the first game is on Thursday this week.
Yeah, so I can't give up too much because we have friends that we're in a league with this year that might listen to this, and I don't want to give away anything. But I'll give away what I can.
Okay, sounds good. So, I mean, to be honest, I'm kind of casual myself when it comes to March Madness and college sports in general. As you know, Steven, I kind of prefer the professional leagues. But to be honest, I mean, I'm really excited to get into it, especially because I missed last year because of my illness. So I'm really excited to watch the games that I can, fill out my bracket, which I'll probably be doing either tonight or first thing tomorrow. So it's going to be really cool and exciting. I did just a little research that I'm willing to share with people just because it's public knowledge. If people did find this, but I mean, so many people have their own opinions as to who they think would be the top league, top teams, top schools this year. BetMGM.com, so a Vegas website who has money riding on this. They actually listed the top 5 schools that they actually think would be most likely to win the NCAA tournament this year. They put UConn at number 1, so it'd be interesting to see. I don't know how many times you see teams going back to back.
Yeah, I mean UConn, I think is the favorite. They only had 3 losses this year.
Yeah.
I think they were the consensus overall number 1 pick going into this, and they got the overall number 1 seed. So that makes sense that they're the favorites going into this for sure.
Yeah, and then they put Houston at number 2, Purdue at number 3, Arizona at number 4, and Tennessee at number 5. They had put San Diego State as like the 20th most likely to win, which is so crazy to think that last year they made it all the way to the finals against UConn. So you never know. And then actually, I mean, I was also just reading up about it too, because again, I wasn't totally familiar with everything going on with March Madness. Last year to begin the season, UConn wasn't even ranked.
Right.
So it's great to see that just, really go from a rags to riches story, as it were, which they use that phrase all the time with March Madness.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm actually surprised that the other number 1 seed, North Carolina, is not on that betting list.
Yeah, I have to check it. They might be in the top 10, but they weren't in the top.
Yeah. Interesting. Arizona, I mean, they were really good this year. So, them being a 2 seed, I mean, those aren't bad picks betting wise. I don't usually like going with the top seeds. I mean, I don't want to give too much away, but I don't usually like going with the number 1 seeds.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't happen too often. I think there's a few years back, I don't remember, 5-6 years ago, where all 4 1 seeds were the final 4 teams, but that just rarely happens. I tend to find, teams in the 2, 3, 4 range will sometimes get there to the final 4. So that's kind of where I usually look at it.
Mm-hmm.
For UConn, I'm not going to pick UConn.
Okay.
I know they're the top overall seed, but going back to back is so difficult, and I'm going to stay away from UConn. So
okay, so for those who looking to fill out their brackets, that's a freebie from Stephen Cable.
For sure.
Don't pick UConn for the whole thing.
I think they'll make the Sweet 16, but I don't know how far after that they'll go. But yeah, so I had no problems with all the 1 seeds. Maybe Arizona kind of deserved a 1 seed, but yeah, I think looking over the bracket really quick today, there wasn't really any huge surprises to me. One thing that stood out was BYU was 6. That seemed a little high to me, but just because of the conference BYU plays in. But I wouldn't expect them to go too deep either. But anything stand out to you in the bracket?
In the bracket, to be honest, Allison's telling me to be quiet. I guess I'm supposed to be keeping my mouth shut when it comes to giving out secrets. So she's just kidding. Okay. Well, to be honest, again, yeah, because I don't follow it too closely, to say like which matchups I think are going to be most exciting and tantalizing. It's difficult to say for certain, but for what I'm definitely looking forward to is I'm going to try and catch as many games as I can and look at specific players just for like the fun of it too. So that's actually what I wanted to talk to you about. Is there any players that you think are exciting to watch this year from following college sports the way you do?
So honestly, this is the least amount I've followed college basketball in my entire life.
Oh, wow.
Just with how busy I am with Little League and other things.
Yeah.
I did not follow it anywhere close to what I usually do. So players wise, I don't know too much about players. I still have picked up on which teams are probably going to be pretty exciting going into this. But specific players, I'm not too sure on. But I do know Thursday and Friday are my 2 favorite days of like the sports week, because it's college basketball all day long, and I get no work done at work. I just sit there on the computer and watch games all day long, and go down on my dad's office and be like, "This one's coming down to the wire," and we can watch it together. So those are fun days. I love Thursday and Friday basketball. It's good stuff.
Mm-hmm. So strictly an outsider myself. I mean, not really paying too much attention, but again, some names that kind of came up as I was doing some research about it were Zach Edey, if I'm saying his name right, the center for Purdue, Tyler Kolek, point guard from Marquette, and then Hunter Dickinson, the center from Kansas, were some of the players that they were mentioning would be worth checking out and watching to see how they do throughout the tournament. But you never know, we could get some heroes who rise up, and like they weren't necessarily one of the top ranked players, but all of a sudden just bust out during the whole tournament. So that'd be kind of fun to see.
Every year there's a guy that comes out of nowhere and kind of carries his team deeper than what they thought that team should go.
Mm-hmm.
So there will be one of those teams. You'll find it, and it'll be exciting to watch. It really is madness. Like, it's a great term for this tournament, because those opening rounds, they're crazy. There's always some kind of buzzer beater, some kind of crazy game going on. And there's usually multiple in the first 4 days, and it's fun. I love this I love college basketball at this time of the year. Even though I didn't follow it, this is such an exciting time of the year, and because it is, we get to be involved in it. Everybody gets to pick a bracket and have, kind of their say in it, and it's a lot of fun. And I mean, not to brag or anything, but I won our little group last year. But I want to throw that out there.
Okay, well, I'll give you props, Stephen, for just being like really, really good when it comes to like these like online sport game things like fantasy football or this. I mean, you've definitely had some success come your way.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good thing. That might be kind of nerdish to be that good at this kind of stuff, but I have been kind of successful at online sports lately. I don't know, so hopefully that success continues and I win this again this year. So.
Yeah. Well, there's some interesting things about bracketing that I want to actually bring up, as you mentioned. Okay. So we mentioned at the top of the show that like so many people from every walk of life, participates and makes brackets for March Madness, get invested in putting out, just guessing randomly, like, oh, I think this team will win. I think this team will win.
Yeah.
Usually picking the top seeded of the two teams, but it's interesting that a gentleman by the name of Greg Nigley, if I'm saying his name right, a neuropsychologist from Columbus, Ohio, I guess he has the verified closest to actually being 100% correct. He got all the way to the Sweet 16 back in 2019, as far as like guessing every single game correctly. Wow. Winner, yeah. Do you remember how many you've guessed correctly? I mean, it's kind of a random question, but.
I do. Okay, so this is a funny story. I actually do. So I did a bracket on my mission. And so that was absolutely the least amount I ever knew. We printed out a bracket, and like I had no idea what was happening that season. And that season, I ended up having 5 misses the whole bracket.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I missed 5 games the whole bracket, and I was like, maybe I shouldn't pay attention anymore. But so that was I remember that I had 5 losses through the whole tournament.
Oh, okay. So it's actually interesting. So again, the website was saying that this guy, Greg Nigel, a neuropsychologist again from Columbus, Ohio, I guess has the verified closest to being most correct. But again, there's so many people who could actually fill out paper brackets and maybe even get it all right. But again, it's unless it's done online, it's not actually verified. So who knows who's actually gotten every single game correct? There might have been someone who's done it.
Yeah, and you can't verify it. And the crappy thing about that was I didn't pick the winner. So that was 5 losses. So that kind of sucked. But yeah, I mean, I was like, man, like I literally went through this whole tournament and had 5 losses. So, but that was obviously a paper bracket back then. Couldn't really surf the internet too much as a missionary. So
yeah.
we just hopped on to print off the brackets and then did it as a mission. I think it was a district. We did a little district tournament, and that was it. So it was fun.
Yeah, then for my research, there was one thing I did see that I'm willing to share with people, just so people are aware. And again, I'm not an expert when it comes to March Madness or the NCAA basketball, but through my research, I was able to find that the lowest seed to actually win the national championship was the 8th seed. Villanova did it in 1985. So yes, we talk about this tournament being like, a tournament for underdogs, but the reality is like, I guess no one lower than the ACs actually won the whole thing. So you can have lots of upsets throughout. I mean, that's the thing. So to actually do successful in your bracket, you have to guess as many as possible, not just guess the winner of the whole thing. But I guess if you were looking to pick someone who is going to win the whole thing, it'd probably be in your best interest to not go lower than the 8th seed.
100%. 100%. That's 100% right. It's a tournament for the underdogs in the first couple days.
Yeah.
They'll have their big moments. Where they'll get upsets and they might even get 2. You'll see, sometimes a 15 seed will get to the Sweet 16, but it kind of ends there. That's when it really narrows down and it gets down to really good basketball. And so it's fun to see the underdogs win games, but they're not going to win super deep. It's not going to happen. They'll run into somebody at some point that's a really good basketball team. And so I'm not saying it won't happen. You might see somebody below an 8 win, but it's going to be at the one end of the bell curve. It's not going to be a common thing for sure. And so I think building on that stat, I don't know exactly what it is, but the 8 seed was the lowest, but I think above 4 has only happened like a handful of times.
Yeah.
I'd have to go back and look. And so, it hasn't been even too many above a 4 seed. And so I wouldn't pick below a 4 seed really. Dang, I shouldn't have said that. But
Okay, there you go. Another freebie for anyone else filling out their brackets.
look at that.
Very cool. Very
Maybe
cool.
post this on Thursday when everything's supposed to be submitted.
Very nice. Very nice. So yeah, I'm excited. This is going to be really, really fun. That's pretty much all I had for the Dodgers and March Madness. Did you have anything else you wanted to bring up for March Madness or sports in general?
Let's see. No, I don't think so. I'm just really excited to fill out my bracket and see what happens this week. I really want to win again. I mean, I'm so competitive. I mean, I think it's fun because like we talk about, everybody kind of does it, and even my two boys that do it, you know, I get down with them and I get them on the computer and they just pick their teams. They have no idea. And Tanner a lot of times will just ask what the mascot is and he'll pick his favorite mascot.
Oh, there you go.
So it's fun. So and they always ask, you know, how's my team doing? And I mean, Tanner picks mascots, so he's almost out of this almost day one. But it's fun to have it on TV, and they're like, "Is this my team?" And then they get into it a little bit. It's kind of fun. It's kind of like fantasy sports, you know. If you have a guy playing, you're a little bit more invested in the game. So if you pick this game, you're a little bit more invested into it, and it's fun for everyone. It's gonna be a good time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And what I also like is that with our group of friends that we're doing this bracket tournament with, we have several who I think really don't watch any sports at all. And they actually do well. It's actually kind of a bonding thing with them. Like if you see them afterwards, like at church or wherever, it would be like, how's your picks doing? How are you doing in your bracket? It'd be kind of a cool icebreaker type of thing.
For sure. I think last year it was coming down to me and Taryn Hartman.
Oh, wow.
She doesn't watch sports. And so it was just one of those things. I mean, it's lucky sometimes. I mean, that's
very cool.
That's what the tournament's about. So, it's cool. And building on it, I'm glad college football is actually going to this kind of format next year with 12 teams. So that's going to be I mean, it's only 12, but it's a step in the right direction. It should be a lot better. So
yeah, that should be really exciting too. So, well, anyways, so we'll definitely do this again. I mean, talk about sports in a couple of weeks after when the tournament's over. For those who listen, I mean, if you have your picks or your suggestions, I guess most people who do probably want to keep it to themselves as far as like how to pick right.
For sure.
But yeah, if you're excited for March Madness, reach out to us, let me know, and then I'd love to have you on again, Steven, and maybe even some of our friends who are participating just to see how the whole thing went. I think that'd be kind of a fun conversation to have.
That'd be kind of fun. Maybe even like around the Final Four week or something in a few weeks, maybe we get a few people on and talk about it. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Oh, very cool. So this has been a fun night. It's always great to focus on sports. I haven't talked sports in a while on the show, so it's always nice to have that as a talking point for an episode. Anything else, or are we good to wrap up?
No, I think that's it, man. It's always good to come on and talk sports. I love talking sports, so it's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you, Steven. Thank you to the listeners. You've been listening to the Casting for Fun podcast. Please enjoy some March Madness this week. Okay, take care, everybody.